Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and this channel is chronicling my journey to get a diagnosis as to what is wrong with me, and then hopefully I'll also record my treatment and recovery journey as well. So today I thought I would just talk and try to explain what I mean when I say that I'm in a crash or I'm crashing. Normally, when I say this, I mean I'm super fatigued, but that just doesn't really do it justice as to what I'm experiencing. So I'm going to try to explain what I mean physically and mentally as well. I'll start with mentally because it's a little easier to explain. So when I'm in a crash, which is brought about when I do too much activity, and by activity, I mean it could be exercise, it could be errands, it could be a really long conversation with someone, it could be housework, it could be just about anything. I'm not sure if it's also mental activity. I haven't really tried, but I do know when I try to read for too long, it makes me extremely fatigued and I will fall asleep reading, which is something I've never done before. I used to be able to read for hours and hours on end. I could read a whole book in one sitting and it wasn't a problem, but that is definitely no longer the case. So it is to some degree mental fatigue as well. So when I'm in a crash, mentally I'm just not as sharp. I have more trouble finding words. I have trouble concentrating. I have trouble doing just about anything. I don't remember as well. I was writing my pen pal, who, if you're watching, you know who you are, and I was having trouble spelling common words, which I hadn't had before in the past. I hadn't really written before during a crash either. So it's just a lot of brain fog and you're just not all there mentally. Your brain's slow and it's just not a fun experience. You definitely notice the difference. Physically, I think it's a lot harder for me to explain. Sometimes my body will feel just heavy and tired, like I'd just done a full body workout after the adrenaline wears off, how you just sort of feel really heavy and exhausted. But it's also extreme tiredness and fatigue, and not the normal oh, I've been up for 20 hours, I'm really sleepy. It's not sleepy. It's fatigue. I can be sitting here on the computer and I will fall asleep. I cannot stop it. It will happen. I've had doctors try to tell me, oh, just push through, make yourself stay awake. No, they do not understand. It's not possible. I will fall asleep. When I go to nap, if I'm in a crash, I nap for hours on end. So long I don't even know if you can consider it a nap. I have napped for 5 to 6 hours at a time. It's just complete exhaustion. And the worst part is when you wake up, it's the same. You don't feel any better. You sometimes feel worse. There are times I wake up. Yesterday I woke up, it was a nap. I had slept for 5 hours and my body still just felt heavy. I could tell my mind wasn't 100%. It took me a very long time to get up the energy to get out of bed. I did force myself to stay up afterwards. I normally can tell if it's just not a wise idea to do that by when I get up to feed my cat, Nikki, who was the only reason I got out of bed yesterday. When I go to feed him, if I'm struggling to feed him, basically my coordination is off. I'm doing things out of order. I know that I'm too exhausted. I'm too fatigued to stay awake. I need to go back to sleep. Currently, I'm coming out of a crash. I know in my previous video I said I was hoping to be able to exercise soon, and I did. I did 20 minutes of cardio. I forget what day last week. I think it was Wednesday, Thursday. But then I had to go to the doctor's office, and then I got into a 2-hour conversation with someone afterwards. And since then, I've sort of been in a crash again. Not as bad as the one I had gotten myself out of, so I'm hoping this doesn't last as long as the 3 weeks after the right heart cath. But I have been sleeping for 12 plus hours after that day, so there's been no exercise, there's been really no housework. I've just been doing sort of the bare minimum to get by, spending a lot of time sitting where I currently am now at the computer, falling asleep sometimes, but it is what it is. I just wanted to sort of explain what I mean when I say I'm in a crash or I don't want to crash. So that's what I mean. It's not anything I've experienced before. I'm not doing it justice trying to explain it, but it's just your body needs to rest, and it will rest one way or another. I also wanted to say real quick that my blood pressure seems to be a lot lower when I'm in a crash or when the crash has been going on for a while. So this morning my blood pressure was 90/60, which is obviously much better than last week or in the week before when it was in the 60s/40s. So I am doing better when it comes to my crash, and I'm hoping to get back to my semi-normal life I had before the right heart cath, where, my nap was only 2 or 3 hours and not 5 or 6 hours. So progress is being made. I just need to listen to my body and rest, which is something I'm not very good at doing, but I am being taught by my body how to do that. So I am going to go now and finish my morning routine and probably nap in a couple hours. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!